There's a lot riding on Sean Payton. If you believe that Russell Wilson is going to have a bounce back season, it's most likely due to Sean Payton being the head coach. And if Sean Payton isn't able to fix Russell Wilson and Russell Wilson still can't cook, there's going to be some really harsh penalties for the Denver Broncos to have to pay, man. And not just from a financial standpoint, but when you look at the future of this franchise, if you have Russell Wilson who ends up having another stinker of a year and you have to come to the realization that he doesn't have it anymore, what are you going to do? You can't trade him. You can't cut him because his cap hit is way too high and his dead cap is insanely high. You wouldn't be able to recover if you were to release Russell Wilson with how big his dead cap is. And you really can't do anything with him in terms of getting rid of him until 2025, 2026. His dead cap hit in 2025 is $49.6 million, which is a lot, but I think if you're Denver, depending on your cap situation, you will be okay with eating that. And he'll be 37 years old. But the year after that, you do have a potential out in 2026 where his dead cap is only $31.2 million, but that's still a lot. So if Sean Payton can't get Russell Wilson back at the level that he was playing with the Seattle Seahawks, or at least better than what he was last season, it's not going to be good thinking about the long-term implications that this will have on the Broncos from a futuristic standpoint. Russell Wilson, you are going to have him on the bench if he doesn't bounce back, and he potentially is going to be replaced with the rookie quarterback in next year's draft because Denver does have a first-round pick in the 2024 draft, and there are a lot of great quarterbacks coming out. And if Russell Wilson doesn't end up working out with Sean Payton, we know that Sean Payton is not going to hesitate to find his replacement. Sean Payton is getting paid a lot of money. Most of the reason why he's getting paid all that money is because of the situation with Russell Wilson. But if this doesn't work out, he's going to have no choice but to go ahead, maybe trade up for a quarterback in the top 10, get a Michael Penix or Bo Nix, and you're going to have to start that guy over Russell Wilson or have a little bit of a quarterback battle. But this Russell Wilson situation really has Denver in a really tough situation. You're hoping that Sean Payton can get the most out of Russell Wilson, and Sean Payton has a very great track record. But from what we've been hearing about training camp, when it comes to Russell Wilson, it hasn't been a lot of positive. Sean Payton has had a lot of good things to say about Russell Wilson, but the reports say otherwise. Russell Wilson is still getting acclimated to Sean Payton's system, and Sean Payton is still learning how to put Russell Wilson in situations to succeed. And Russ has put in a lot of work this offseason. He's lost weight. He looks skinnier. He looks more mobile. But all that sounds good. But how is this going to translate to success on the field? And Denver's future kind of is in the hands of Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. If they can't figure it out, things are going to look really blurry up there in the Mile High State. I just don't see a world where if Sean Payton doesn't get Russell Wilson playing at a high level, this franchise being able to be a winning organization until he retires. And maybe Russell Wilson does retire if he has another bad year. I don't think he's the kind of person that wants to sit there, be a backup, and get paid a lot of money for it. He's somebody who wants to go out there and contribute to the team's success. But if this ends up resulting in Russell Wilson not really making too many improvements, you got to wonder if the Denver Broncos hiring Sean Payton and trading for him was even worth it. Sean Payton put a lot of pressure on himself and low-key put a target on his back when he came for Nathaniel Hackett. And although I don't have an issue with Sean Payton's comments, it kind of looks like some comments that he could go back on and kind of say, damn, like maybe I shouldn't have said this. Maybe this kind of put me in a little bit of a bind, because Sean Payton has a lot of confidence in his abilities, but maybe some of these players are right. Maybe Sean Payton kind of made those statements because he realizes how tough this actually is, and maybe this is a lot tougher than what he initially expected. Maybe Russell Wilson has also got hit by Father Time. You see, it's easy to put all the blame for Russell Wilson's struggles last year on Nathaniel Hackett. But what if Father Time has just caught up to Russell Wilson and Russell Wilson just isn't good anymore? He's just up to the age where he just can't produce and he can't do what he was able to do from an athletic standpoint. A lot of Russell Wilson's game is based on improvisation, being able to extend plays, be Houdini, and make big throws downfield. And you got to have athleticism because you got to be able to run around to do that. And with Russell Wilson up there in the 30s, man, that athleticism may not be there anymore. He's not somebody who can play well in structure. He's not Drew Brees. He's not somebody that's going to be 1, 2, 3, boom, the ball is out. He's going to be somebody that's 1, 2, 3, look around for the bigger play. And you can kind of fix that up with coaching, but it's not too much you can do to really change somebody who's not really built for an offense that's predicated on structure. Russell Wilson has made a living in the NFL based on the ability to create, the ability to be great off platform, being able to make things happen when things break down. And if he just doesn't have the athleticism to do that, and you have to force him to change his playing style, I think it's pretty much over. People keep saying that, well, Sean Payton is going to have to mold his offense a little bit around Russell Wilson and still do the things that, he used to do in New Orleans. He can't get away from what has been staples of his offense. I mean, I kind of think that Sean Payton has no choice but to completely build an offense around Russell Wilson. This is a completely different quarterback from what you had in New Orleans with Drew Brees. Drew Brees was a precision passer. This dude was able to dissect defense and pick them apart with pinpoint accuracy and good anticipation and being able to get the ball out quick. This has never been a part of Russell Wilson's game. Since when has Russell Wilson ever been really good operating in the quick passing game? I haven't really seen Russell Wilson in a quick passing offense. Hell, have y'all seen that when he was playing for the Seattle Seahawks? Because I haven't. So Sean Payton, man, this is a really tough job for him. And I do have faith that he can figure out a way to get Russell Wilson to bounce back. But we also got to talk about the what-if scenario if this doesn't go as planned. You see, in an optimal world, we would love to see Russell Wilson playing at the level that he was when he was a Seattle Seahawk in Denver. But if we have to be a little bit realistic with ourselves, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to get that same Russell Wilson back. And even if Russell Wilson is better than what he was last season, how better is he than last year? Is he a couple strides better than what he was in 2022? Or is he only a notch better than what he was last season? Because to be a competitive team in the toughest conference and one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, you're going to need good quarterback play out of Russell Wilson. I don't think getting serviceable play out of Russell Wilson going against Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes twice a year is going to be good enough for you to be a potential playoff team, which is what Sean Payton kind of alluded to in that interview that he did when he called out Nathaniel Hackett. Really early in that interview, he said that he'll be pissed if this isn't a playoff team. Well, if this isn't a playoff team, then that means that Russell Wilson isn't going to be playing at a good level. For Denver to make it to the playoffs, they need Russell Wilson to at least return to 85% of what he used to be. They got a really tough schedule, and they're in a really tough division. And Sean Payton can coach his tail off all he wants to, but if Russell Wilson isn't delivering good performances, it's going to be tough for Denver to have much success this season. In the AFC, this is where the majority of the NFL's best quarterbacks reside. You got Mahomes and Justin Herbert in the same division, and then you got to match up with teams like the New York Jets. You got quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers that you got to play against. You got Josh Allen in the same conference, Trevor Lawrence. The majority of the best quarterbacks in the league are in the AFC. And the teams that have went the furthest in the AFC have had good quarterback play. Even the Tennessee Titans, the year that they upset the Baltimore Ravens and went to the AFC Championship game, Ryan Tannehill was really good during that stretch. He was a top 12 quarterback that year. Russell Wilson being average or above average or being serviceable isn't going to be enough. This isn't the kind of division that you can just get by having okay quarterback play. Anything other than Russell Wilson performing at a top 15 level isn't going to be good enough for the Broncos to crack the playoffs. So I ask you guys this. If this doesn't work out, how effed are the Denver Broncos for the foreseeable future? If Sean Payton can't get Russell Wilson cooking again, how bad is this going to put the Denver Broncos when it comes to, their future and having to pay guys such as Jerry Jeudy and some of the younger guys that they have in their roster, Patrick Surtain? Is this Russell Wilson thing going to hinder those contracts from being negotiated or end up re-signing those players? Patrick Surtain is one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and with all the money that Russell Wilson is making, are you going to be able to re-sign him? Are you going to be able to bring back Jerry Jeudy? So this Russell Wilson situation, man, if he doesn't end up getting fixed back up, it puts the Broncos in a really tough situation. And for Sean Payton, I doubt he gets fired because he's getting paid so much money, even though I'm pretty sure the owners of Denver would have no problem paying the buyout to get rid of Sean Payton if this doesn't work. But I just think that if Russell Wilson can't give you at least 3/4 of what he used to be, I don't think that this is going to work out. I think for the Broncos to have success this year, you need Russell Wilson playing at least close to the level that he used to play at with Seattle. And if you don't get that, you're not going to be able to go far. And even then, if Russell Wilson plays at an average level and you're okay with that, you got to remember that he's only getting older. So he's only going to regress more athletically. Russell Wilson isn't going to be able to keep up the same level of play up into his late 30s, even with him making the weight loss. So if this doesn't work out for the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton and this rehabilitation project with Russell Wilson fails, I think that the Broncos are going to be in an even worse situation when it comes to their future, because you're going to have him taking up so much of the cap and you're going to be stuck with him for at least the next couple of years. You can't do anything with Russell Wilson until at earliest 2025. And that would be a really big dead cap hit that you would have to take. And we remember what happened with the Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan. I mean, they took so big of a dead cap hit, they pretty much couldn't do anything. And it took them a little bit of a while to recover from that. And Denver, they do have a first-round pick, but you will have to use that on a quarterback. So you'll be paying a rookie quarterback on a cheap deal, but you'll be having your backup making more money annually than your rookie QB, who most likely could be the starter. This, if it doesn't work out, will be a really disastrous situation for the Broncos. This kind of has to work out, which I guess makes sense why they gave Sean Payton so much money to lure him out of retirement. Because a situation like this, you need an all-time great head coach to fix what could be an all-time big mistake. So let me know what you guys think about this Russell Wilson situation. If Sean Payton can't fix Russell Wilson, what would that mean for the future of the Denver Broncos? Because they can't cut him. Nobody's going to want to trade for him, so they pretty much are going to be stuck with him until he chooses to retire or that contract expires. But when you have a backup quarterback that could be making as much as what Russell Wilson is going to be paid, it's going to be hard to field a competitive team when he has that kind of contract sitting on the bench.